Okay, so I'm hearing from a lot of people that they're struggling to get the achievement Bare Hands May Best a Knight, in which you need to use Luka to beat Argenti in a fight in the Wardance event. So before we start, if you haven't got to this point yet, this is going to be very important. Make sure you bring Luka to the story fight against Argenti. If you do this during the story, it will be impossible to miss this achievement. Luka cannot die in the story, and instead he'll just go to 1 health and then be healed up again. Also, there is no turn limit in the story, so you can fight forever and never die. So you will get this achievement 100% of the time this way. Now, on to other matters. If you've already completed the story fight, this is going to be a lot harder for you depending on what characters you own and how geared they are. So if you've already completed the story fight, then Argenti will be available as a Dreamscape encounter. However, you won't have access to a trial Luka, so you will need to bring your own, which for most of us means a very low leveled and ungeared Luka. You do however have access to a trial Jade, Argenti and Huahua. So for this video, I'm going to assume that you have nothing. So we're going to discuss how we can get this achievement using just the trial Jade, Argenti and Huahua and our very own low level Luka. In this case, I have a level 60 Luka. This is going to be an incredibly tight fight, but it does seem fairly consistent. I tried this 3 times and I beat Argenti 3 times. That said, all 3 clears were on turn 0 with literally 2 to 3 actions left on the table, so we're cutting it incredibly close. If you've got better characters, then bring them along instead. But I wanted to make sure that this video is useful for as many people as possible, so I wanted to stick to just the trial characters. So how this guide will work is that I'll tell you my exact game plan that I use to get this achievement every time, and if you want to see the full fight, I'll put that at the end and you can jump to it using the chapter markers. So this fight with trial characters is going to be very tight, so you're going to want to make sure that you follow the game plan to a T. So in terms of our Luka, I have a level 60 Luka that I leveled up for the standard pools, but a lower level one is fine. We're not going to be using him for damage. The achievement, however, won't pop up if he's dead, so we really want to make sure that he doesn't die. I just took my Acheron's gear and I dropped it onto Luka, so as long as he doesn't die, that's all we really care about, although the stronger he is, the easier this will be. For the active tactics, I used Out of Thin Air, which immediately refreshes our team's ultimates. And for the passive, I went with Pulse Energy, which gives us 10% more damage for every enemy on the field. There's always going to be 5 enemies on the field at all times, except when we activate the hyper mode, but that doesn't really matter then, so this can be considered a straight up 50% damage boost. Now, our methodology or strategy going into this fight is that we don't care about dealing damage to Argenti himself. Our main focus in this fight is going to be killing the adds as quickly as possible. This is because killing the adds will build up the hype meter, and when it fills up, Argenti gets stunned and takes 400% bonus damage, so this is our main window to be dealing damage to him. In order for us to kill the adds though, we need to make use of the stage buff, in which arrows will spawn and deal massive damage to everything every time we use 3 ultimates, so spamming ults is going to be the play here. In terms of the roles for each character, Jade is going to want to use her skill on Argenti, and then she kind of just does her stuff. Whenever she attacks, we want it to be on one of the swords as opposed to Argenti himself, and we also then want to use her ult whenever it's up. Argenti is very important in this team. He only wants to use level 1 ultimates. He's going to be our main damage dealer responsible for clearing adds. The more level 1 ults we do, the more arrows we spawn. Luka is mainly here to build SP, so I mainly used him to do basic attacks whenever I'm on 2 SP or lower, although if I've got more than 2 SP then I do use skill. Whenever Luka uses his ultimate, I use that to whittle down a sword, primarily focusing on the black swords as they do AoE damage to friendlies whenever they die. And then with Huahua, you want to be using her skill every single turn, even if you don't need heals. The reason for this is because using skills regenerates far more energy than a basic attack does, so it's very important that you're spamming skills on her so that she gets her ult up faster, as that in turn leads to more faster ults for our entire team. Okay, so on screen here, you're about to see me hit super hype mode. So this happens after we kill enough swords, and we're going to need this to happen 3 times throughout the fight. 1 for each phase, as that's the only opportunity that we'll have to do any sort of damage to Argenti. When this happens, our energy is going to get refreshed to full, so that gives us the opportunity to unload everything onto Argenti during his 400% damage multiplier state. So this should be enough for us to clear phase 1. You'll see here that I also get my active tactic energy filled up, It's really important that we don't waste this on Argenti during his stunned phase. Instead, I'm going to be saving it for when the ads are back up in phase 2 so that we can quickly clear them to push for another super hype mode. So you'll soon see me pop the tactic to regenerate my ultimates at the start of phase 2. And then it's just really more of the same thing again, so I'm going to stop yapping now and I'll let the rest of the video play out. But before I do, I did want to give you guys 2 last tips for the next 2 phases. First is that we want to be targeting the black swords, as these are the swords that blow up and deal damage to their own team. And that 2, in phase 2 and 3, Argenti will start summoning ads that cast shields on their team. So this shield absorbs a single hit, so whenever possible we want to make sure that these shields are removed before we use an Argenti ult. Argenti has 2 bars of energy, so if you're able to hold off just a little bit in order to use an AoE attack to remove the shields first, then we want to make sure that we do that before we use his ult. A lot of your issues will be coming from these shields absorbing the big hits that come from Argenti's ult, or from the rain of arrows from the stage buff. As long as we keep that in mind, that should do it. It's still going to be really tight. If you're using just trial characters, then you're probably going to be right on turn 0. But if everything goes right, you should be able to secure the victory. So, good luck with that.
Confess, till I see. I will protect all beauty. You're fighting a gentleman.
Small fry.
Stay put.
Guess I owe you.
Wretched and bleeding.
Flesh.
Who's the little backstabber? We? There's no backing out now. For me or you.
Till I will protect all beauty.
The flesh.
Lose some, win. Who's the little backstabber?
Let the duel commence. The beauty is eternal. Till I will protect all beauty.
The flesh.
Time for a lesson. There's no backing out now. For me or you.
The flesh.
Self-inflicted misery.
The flesh wound.
Where's the applause? Let's see some sparks fly!
We? There's no backing out now. For me or you.
Till I will protect all beauty. For a driller. Fiends or devils. I'll crush them all.
Keep patching me up.
Put forth all your might.
Just graze.
You're fighting a gentleman. Flesh wound.
Give an inch and they'll take a mile.
My oath is to a solid. Wretched and
The
bleeding.
flesh.
Who's the little backstabber?
Rise to the challenge. Till I will protect all beauty. Put forth all your might. Let the duel commence.
Keep patching me up.
Fiends or devils. I'll crush them all.
The flesh wound.
Till I see that I will protect all beauty.
Self-inflicted misery. We? There's no backing out now. For me or you. Who's the little backstabber?
Till I will protect all beauty. Rise to the challenge.
Small fry. Let's see some sparks fly!
My guiding light. Beauty is eternal.
Self-inflicted misery.
Put forth all your might. Till I see, I will protect all beauty.
The flesh wound.
Bending the rules.
You're fighting a gentleman.
Just don't let me down.
Until I see, I will protect all beauty.
The flesh wound.
Rise to the challenge.
We? There's no backing out now. For me or you.
Where's the applause? Let's see some sparks fly!
Until I see, I will protect all beauty. Fiends or devils, I'll crush them all. My gratitude is yours, wretched and fleeting.
Who's the little backstabber?
The punches decide.